Hello and welcome to my show, the Cosmic Castaway podcast. I'm your host, Steve Gedzik. Before I get into the details of what the show is about, I wanted to take a moment to share a little bit about myself and why I decided to create this show. I grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago during the 1980s and the 1990s, and like many kids in those days, I spent a lot of time playing video games and watched a lot of cartoons and watched a lot of movies. After graduating high school in 2000, I attended DeVry University where I studied telecommunications and computer and electrical engineering. I graduated in 2005 with a bachelor's degree in science and went on to work in this industry and still do so to this day. Just to be clear, I'm not a physicist or a scientist of any kind, nor am I a professor affiliated with any major universities. All that being said, I was always kind of a weird kid growing up. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I still kind of am. I never seemed to fit in anywhere, and I didn't have many friends. I tried many times to assimilate into social groups in an effort to connect with people, but it just never worked out. I just wasn't interested in the ordinary common things that most other people are interested in. For some reason, I always found myself gravitating towards the extraordinary, the unusual, the unexplained, and science fiction. And then one day, when I was around 11 or 12 years old, I got this book called Mysteries of Space and the Universe by Phyllis Emmert. This was the spark that lit the fire, so to speak. In this book, for the first time, I read a variety of actual accounts involving UFO encounters. I learned about the SETI project and strange signals from space. I learned about black holes and wormholes, time travel, life on other planets, and many other related topics. You might say this book was my gateway drug into the world of the unexplained phenomenon and the paranormal. From there, I went looking for any and all books related to these subjects at the local library. But unfortunately, back in those days, there were not many. And what I could find, I read immediately. TV shows and radio programs such as Unsolved Mysteries, Sightings, X Files, Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, and Star Trek became my mecca, so to speak. I subscribed to magazines like Popular Science, Omni, Discover, and Astronomy. And every time I got a new issue, I would literally flip through the pages, looking for specifically anything having to do with black holes, wormholes, time, and anything time related, extraterrestrial life, parallel universes, quantum physics, anything that touched on the unexplained and the unusual and the fantastic, anything at all. I was completely addicted. Unfortunately, I didn't know anyone who shared my passion. More often than not, I'd be ridiculed by both adults and other kids if I tried talking about these subjects, so I had to just keep it all to myself. Needless to say, it was a very lonely time until I got to high school, where I finally met other kids who had the same passion I did, and they watched the same shows as I did, and were just as weird as I was, if not more so. After graduation, unfortunately, I lost touch with most of these friends and was back to square one. And without any other outlets or social groups to turn to, I decided to focus on college and a career. I continued reading what I could and kept up with recent developments, but I just kept it all to myself. Fast forward a few decades to today, where the utility of the internet has exploded and with it a whole new medium for, among many other things, independent journalists, podcasters, and investigators. Today, anyone who wants a platform to share and discuss anything they want with the whole world can do so from the comfort of their own home and for very little money. This simply did not, obviously, this did not exist back then. It was, and it is a huge advantage. And after a lot of back and forth, I decided to carve out a tiny little piece of the internet for myself and use it to share all of these thoughts and ideas I've had over all these years. I had to keep it to myself. I'm certainly not getting any younger, and I figure it's either now or never. So here I am. And I'm looking forward to making this journey with all of you. My goal is to try and get one episode out per week, and I may add response videos in between episodes if I feel that there is something going on that I need to address urgently. I'll be covering many different topics that fall under the paranormal and the unexplained, from UFOs and ETs to ghosts in the afterlife, to black holes and time travel, all of it. I plan to cover specific cases rather than entire subjects in general, both old and new, that I feel are worth showcasing so that I can discuss my thoughts about these cases in depth. And there's a lot of ground to cover, so stay tuned. I also plan to share my own investigative material, which will mainly be videos that I capture with my own equipment when I have the time and resources to go out in the field and investigate. If things go well, I also hope to have the opportunity to invite on guests for exclusive interviews and live streams. So, this is the kind of content you can expect from the show as we go forward, and I will always do my best to bring you the most fascinating and accurate information as I can. If you're interested in making this journey with me and want to hear more, please remember to subscribe to my channel so you can get all updates on upcoming episodes. And also remember to share with your friends and family if you think they may be interested as well. Lastly, please also check out my new website, teacup.press. This will be the hub for all of my project work, including video clips of mysterious sightings that I capture with my own equipment. Outside from this show, I also work on a number of other projects, personal projects, and I will be showcasing all of that work there. So again, that web address is teacup.press. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Good night.